everyone. A person with two watches will never be convinced of his time. A person with no idea or so many ideas, no goal or so many goals, would obviously end up unsuccessful in his life. Uh, we all really want to be successful in our life. We all really want to be happy in our life. We all really want to be so peaceful, filled with positivity in our lives. Do you really want to become successful in life? Do you really want to be happier? I would suggest you go and read Mandino. See, I have gone through lots and lots of motivational, self-help sort of books, and I found Mandino the most motivating. It's a kind of a philosophical, mystical, but a practical way to lead a very successful life. To those who are not familiar with Mandino, I'll give you a bit of details. Mandino was an American author, the author of history's best-selling book, The Greatest Salesman in the World, which was published in the year 1968. The book, so to say, has sold almost 50 plus million copies and has been translated into 25 plus different languages. Not here to talk a lot about Mandino. I'm here to talk about The Greatest Salesman in the World. See, the title of the work is quite deceptive. Seeing the title of the work, nobody except salesmen would go and fetch it and read it. But this particular book is not for salesmen alone. If you want to really become successful in life, really get motivated, filling your life with so much of positivity and happiness, you can of course go and grab the book and begin to read it. The PDF version of the book is obviously available online, and if you are so fed up reading, if you don't feel like reading books or this book as such, you can go for Audible version as well. It is there in Audible, and you can obviously plug in and listen to it when you're doing your household chores, driving your car, or doing workout. To be frank, I would like to tell you something. This book, obviously, like many self-help books, does not offer you easy tips and tricks. I cannot tell you that, I cannot of course guarantee you that you go and grab the book, read it, and tomorrow you'll become successful. No. This is not a list of shortcuts. This book provides you with 10 scrolls. It's really interesting. 10 hidden secrets to follow throughout your life. You read one scroll and you have to follow that particular secret for 1 month. And thus that particular secret becomes your habit. And you have got 10 scrolls. That means you have to have 10 months. Obviously, as you all know, there is no shortcut to success. You need to at least take 10 months to become successful in life. The book is quite interesting for me because it is a kind of written in a fictional narrative form where you have a storyteller, Hafid, who begets these 10 scrolls from his master, and Hafid is the storyteller of this particular story, and he narrates or reveals his secrets in becoming the greatest salesman in the world. He's the greatest salesman in the world, and he tells us about the secrets. How did he become the greatest salesman in the world, or the greatest human being in the world actually. Now I'm here to provide you the gist of the scrolls, kind of tips and tricks to become successful in life, to become a happier version of yourself, to become a better version of yourself. Tip number 1. The only difference between the people who have failed and the people who are successful is their difference in the habits. Good habits are the key to success, and bad habit is the unlocked door to failure. From today on, what we should do is grab good habits, make or create good habits, and be a slave to good habits. See, our actions are basically ruled by lots and lots of things like appetite, passion, prejudice, pride, love, fear, hatred, environment, habit, and the worst of all these tyranns is of course the habit. And if you need to be slave of a habit, let it be slave of good habits. Let you be slave of good habits. See, in order to form a habit, you need to repeat action. It is by constant repetition of a particular action that what happens is you perform this action every day, and slowly the action becomes so pleasurable that when something becomes so pleasurable, human beings do have a tendency to repeat it, to do it often, and thus it becomes a habit, and thus you become a slave of habits. So tip number 1 is be a slave to good habits. Tip number 2, greet each day with love in your heart. So how do you do that? Look at all things with love and you'll be born again. Love the sun because it warms your bones. Love the rain because it cleanses your spirit. Love the light for it shows you the way. Love the darkness for it shows you the stars. Welcome happiness because that enlarges your heart. Endure sadness because that opens your soul. Acknowledge rewards because they are your due. And obstacles, welcome obstacles because that they are your real challenges in life. Tip number 3, persist until you succeed. Charge forward and success will be yours. The prizes of life are not at the beginning, but at the end. You're not sure, or you cannot say how many steps you need to take to reach your goal. Sometimes maybe you're taking the 1000th step, you get failure. But success may lie hidden behind the next bend on the road. So always take another step. It's not too difficult to take one step at a time. Tip number 4. Now, this is really motivating for me. I am nature's greatest miracle. Wow, so motivating. This acknowledging yourself is what we often fail to do. We often fail to do this. Just understand. Understand something. Nobody can in this world can duplicate your breaststrokes. Nobody can make your chisel marks. Nobody can duplicate your handwriting. Nobody can produce your child. Capitalize. Capitalize on your difference because that's the only asset to be promoted to its fullest. Within you burns a flame which is passed onto you from generations uncounted. And there is a heat. And there is a heat which comes from this flame which tells you to become the better version of you every day. Be better than you are today because you are nature's greatest miracle. Tip number 5, live this day as if it's the last. Waste not a single moment of your life mourning yesterday's misfortunes, yesterday's defeats, yesterday's aches of heart. This day. This moment is all you have in your complete control. These hours are your eternity. Live this day as if it's the last. Tip number 6, master your emotions. Tides advance, tides recede. Winter goes, summer comes. Sun rises, sun sets. Flowers bloom, flowers fade. All nature is a circle of moods, and we are obviously part of nature. So our mood will rise and fall. Inside you is a wheel constantly turning from sadness to joy, from happiness to melancholy. Just remember, Just remember that today's dead flowers carries the seeds of tomorrow's bloom. Today's sadness carry the seeds of tomorrow's joy. Tip number 7. Laugh at you. Laugh at the world. Of course, you're the greatest miracle in the world, that's for sure. And then you are so comical when you take yourself so seriously. Why take yourself so seriously? You're just a grain. You're just a grain tossed about by the winds of time. To maintain a balance, you need to check. You need to laugh at yourself because we're just nothing. We're just nothing. Just remember 4 words. What Mandino says is, remember 4 words. This too will pass. Have a heartache, have a disease, you have pandemic. This too will pass. You're so burdened with wealth. Just remember, this too will pass. Laugh at everything. Laughing, your laughter would reduce everything to its proper size. Laugh at your failures, laugh at your successes. Tip number 8. Multiply your value 100-fold. A mulberry leaf with a touch of a genius becomes silk. A field of clay with a touch of a genius becomes a castle. You have a choice. You have a choice not to let your life be eaten up. You have a choice to grow and multiply your value. Set goals for a day, for a week, a month, a year, a lifetime. Of course, you will stumble. When you stumble, rise, move forward, multiply yourselves. Tip number 9. Dreams are worthless. Plans best. And goals are impossible if it's not followed by action. A map has not carried a man an inch off the ground. It is action which ignites a map. It is goals which put to practice makes you successful. It is you should transform your goals into a living force. Action is the food and drink which nourishes success. Act now or never. Tip number 10, the last one. What do you do when you're confronted with death, with danger, with mystery, with something beyond your comprehension, beyond human comprehension? You call God, you cry for help, you pray, of course. God, in the sense, it may not be in the religious sense of the term, but then you cry. Crying is a sort of a prayer. You cry. You pray to the spirit, to the unknown power, to the Almighty, not for help, but for guidance. Pray for guidance. Not for material things, not for food kind of things, but for guidance. O Creator of, I'm going to the world naked and alone. And I cannot, without your hand, I would be groping in darkness, so please guide me. Now this is the 10th tip. So I would obviously recommend you to go and read this particular wonderful motivating book, The Greatest Salesman in the World by Mandino. And after reading it, let me see your comments in the comment box. Thank you.